Yeah.
Primarily, our European marketplace, South and Central America, we look at as a big marketplace. South Korea, Japan, kind of
South
markets
Korea,
that
Japan, especially South Korea, should be huge in the gaming scene.
massive, and cryptocurrency. They're sort of the leaders in both of those spaces right now. They're
Yeah, I
taking it
heard
very serious.
I heard stats. I forget, but it was roughly like 1 out of 4, or maybe even more people, like on the street, if you just went up to them, would have a crypto wallet. The amount
Yeah,
of housewives with the crypto wallets is just really a high percentage there. And
yeah,
then
for
China,
sure.
the Chinese are very active in the crypto space, although they
They
have
are.
some restrictions. But I've been at a number of conferences, and we're looking at how can we better connect Silicon Valley inventors with some of the capital coming out of there. You've got Node, is it Node One? I mean, there's a whole host of different Chinese firms looking at from the VC and capitalization side, and they're very they get crypto. I mean, they're using their
Yeah,
phones,
for
and
sure.
they're using WePay and other AmpPay apps, so they're not really using digital dollar, or they're already using digital wallets when they walk around. So it's just a quicker step for them to get into full on the cryptos, and they seem to be fairly early adopters from what I've seen.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, and the South Korean market, of course, I would think anything with gaming, you got to really be focusing in that market.
Yeah, we are heavily focused.
Are you working with any California folks?
Yeah, Jeff's out of San Diego, LA area.
Andrew.
Andrew Duplessis, he's one of our advisors. Um, uh,
Okay.
Taco with DNA, Takashi with DNA. So a few guys out of the Southern California area.
Now let's talk about regulatory compliance. So we did talk about KYCs, but what about security versus utility? Where do you guys come in on that?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting in the Canadian space. Working with the BC securities, they don't believe in anything really called utility token. If you're going to be selling it on a broadly, if you're going to be selling it to individuals, you should, they really look at it as a security. So there's specific regulations and exemptions here that are available to us in British Columbia that allow us to um, essentially say that it's a security here in British Columbia, but allow us to go out into the other marketplaces and sell it more along the lines of that utility basis. Um, which is very odd, but that's why we're relying on the exemptions and the legal opinions from the other countries that we're selling into, and on their determination if we can sell into those countries. So I guess the long and short of it is we've been working with regulators here to make sure that the sale is compliant, specifically in British Columbia where we reside.
Okay. Have you touched bases with anyone on the SEC?
We do have our lawyers here have partner firms in the U.S. that they consult for the U.S. securities. Yes, but it does go through our Canadian firm.
Okay. Well, thanks. And now, so this is an app that you'll. I mean, it's a separate app from the gaming app, so I'll have a wallet on my phone. Can you just kind of walk me through what's the user experience going to be like, and how do I get started as a user, not an investor?
Go ahead, Paul. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so yeah, it is a separate app. And what we do is we partner with existing games. So the SDK itself goes into the game, and that communicates with the app in a very high level way. So what would happen is if you come onto the say the App Store and you download RewardMob, you'd sign in, you'd set your account up, and it would then tell you, okay, there's some tournaments going on now for these games. You'd go on, you could download that game from the store. As soon as you start playing, you connect your RewardMob account with the app, and it then talks to sends rewards to and from each other. and then you're kind of good to go, really. So we have two ways of acquiring users. One is that way, through normal marketing, marketing our app, trying to get people to sign up. But also, because we can partner with existing games, potentially, once we partner with a game with X thousand users, as soon as if they've been playing that game for quite a while, and then they partner with RewardMob, it will come up and say, hey, now you can play this game and earn real world prizes. Do you want to sign up with RewardMob? Yes. And then you go and download the app that way. So every time you create an account on the app, it creates a wallet inside on the Waves account, because we have our own node. So all the any crypto that you earn, the RMob that you earn in the tournaments, will get put straight into your wallet, and you can then make transactions from your wallet, your internal wallet, to your external wallet, and then start trading it around on the Waves platform.
So I would go, let's say I'm pretty good at a game, I get a bunch of tokens playing in there, so then I take those to my wallet from the mob token to my Waves wallet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can. So you initially they'd be stored in your RewardMob wallet, but if you want to take them out and trade them, you can send them to your Waves wallet, which allows you access to the exchange.
Okay. And then from there I could use them to purchase other items or exchange them for other cryptos?
Exactly. Yeah.
And what kind of fees are on the tokens? And I mean, do you? Yeah.
There's a small exchange fee. I think it's 0.001% fee to do any sort of transfer. So it's very, very minimal. I think it's a third of a penny around there.
That's the good thing about the Waves platform. Very, very cheap.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more. Why'd you go with the Waves instead of like an ERC20 kind of token or one of the many others?
For sure, this was actually quite a hard choice. I mean, when we first started this project, we looked at various different blockchains that we could work on. This was right around the time when Ethereum was having some scaling issues, and CryptoKitties came out and crashed the entire network with essentially a game. So it really made us look at it and think, hey, we're in the same space. We could potentially have hundreds of thousands of users trying to enter tournaments at any given time. What happens if that happens? Are we gonna have a backup problem? Are we gonna have scaling issues? What is the cost to confirm a transaction on the network? So there's a lot of factors that we really had to factor in, because we're a platform that has mass adoption and could have potentially a lot of users on it at any given time. So that was scalability and speed was a huge issue for us. So the Waves network confirms transactions about 6 times faster than Ethereum currently right now, and the cost again to do the transactions is relatively cheap.
I'm not familiar with it. Is it a proof of stake kind of
yeah, it is proof
token?
of stake. Yeah,
okay.
It's proof of stake concept consensus.
How much of an issue is security with something like this?
Yeah, they're fully audited. They went through an audit last year on all the smart contracts, and all of the audit issues were rectified. So they've got a clean bill of health, and knock on wood, they've never been hacked before. So so far so good with all of that. We have all of our own internal security policies and checks and things that we do on our end as well too.
Okay, so let's shift gears here a little bit. So why'd you get interested in this? What made you want to? Are you guys hardcore gamers? And
it's funny because I was always a gamer growing up. Like I played absolutely everything. I actually even wrote games on a Commodore 64 back in the day.
That was before my TRS-80, huh?
Yeah.
What's your favorite game from?
Yeah, the VIC-20.
What's your favorite game from the old days?
Oh my gosh. It's hard to even remember any of the games that I used to play on there. I remember having them all on floppy drive back then.
Yeah, I had one for King Tut where you'd go through these tombs. It was on floppy drive back on my TRS-80. It was kind of fun.
Pretty good Galaxians on the VIC-20.
Oh, did you?
Gallagher, yeah.
Gallagher.
And what kind of accent do you have there? So you don't sound full-on Canadian.
I'm from England. So
Okay.
I've been in for 13 years. I'm not going to shift the accent, so it's going to stay, I'm afraid.
Yeah. So were you a gamer too?
Yeah, certainly was growing up. Yeah, I mean, we it's quite funny whenever we go to the any events, any gaming events, we're always the oldest there, aren't we?
Yeah.
We ourselves the wild horses. So yeah, we do a bit. Don't we?
Yeah.
So what's I guess the other thing I like to ask people too is what's the real world problem you're trying to solve with the blockchain crypto?
For sure. So let me kind of start out with some of the real issues that we originally started solving, because the crypto didn't come in till May of last year when we first started implementing that. So the original problem that we were trying to solve here is retention issues and user acquisition issues for mobile game developers. Currently, about 85% of the game's users leave within the first 30 days of signing up. So a game developer goes out there, they spend $3 to $5 to acquire that user, and within 30 days, 85% of those users are gone. So it's very expensive to get users, and it's hard to keep them. So by adding in this loyalty platform and engaging them with tournaments, we're finding that those users are playing longer than they did before. They're spending more money on the platform, and they're hanging around a little bit longer. So we're actually now, since launching back in January, have analytics that prove that our platform is helping game developers with those three issues that they have. The reason that we started integrating blockchain and cryptocurrency into it is really it was really about globalization and having a common currency across all of the games and all of the platforms. So whether you use US dollar, Canadian dollar, yen, pounds, you've got one common currency throughout the entire platform, and we don't have to worry about having a huge department of accountants and people managing payouts to customers and payouts to users and conversions of
Boy, I never even thought of that. That's true. So yeah, on a global gaming platform, having one unified currency is going to really simplify the use case.
For sure.
I've done a small local business in California, and boy, with the current system, each county you sell it, and each city has slightly different tax rates, and it's like it's just overwhelming, and that's just in one state hitting a couple different towns. So I could imagine that, when you get into a global currency, a global gaming platform, that would be very beneficial to have one system that would work around the globe.
Yeah, for sure. That was sort of our one of our largest uses, our thought process of how this is going to help us get to players in other countries as fast as we can. The other thing is being able to manage the tournaments on the blockchain and having users create their own tournaments among themselves. So let's say you and your friends want to get together and play a tournament. There's 10 of you. You can set up a tournament. You guys each put in X amount of RewardMob tokens, and you compete against each other. And at the end of the tournament, it all gets paid out to however you guys set up the tournament structure. So long-term feature of what we want to do is allow the players to be able to set up their own tournaments and have it in a trustless environment that is all managed by smart contracts.
I was going to just say, can you do smart contracts on top of these? If I want to do a tournament, can you put in your own tournament requirements and put them in a contract and have the players go at it?
Yep, that's not available yet, but that's on the roadmap, and we think that that's going to be a really big feature going forward, especially with the way the gaming market's going and esports is going. If you want to set up what would formerly have been called a LAN party back in our day when we got together to play against our friends, now you can do it on your mobile device, and you don't have to be in the same room. You could have friends get together from all over the place and have the private parties.
Very cool. Well, we're just about out of time here, so where can people go to get more information?
You can come to our website at RewardMob.com. We've got everything listed on there, iOS and Android, Play Store, and App Store, just search for RewardMob and download the app, and you can check out some of the games on there and hopefully earn some RMob tokens.